Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Notification Podcast, your go to source for this week's new book releases. Today, we're looking at the week of March 24th to the 30th. There are over 400 new books being released this week, so there is no way we could cover them all. Visit booknotification.com to explore the full list of this week's new books. You can also follow your favorite authors so you'll be the first to know when their next book is available. As always, we have 10 books to highlight releasing this week, with a little something for everybody. Let's get into it. Nobody's Fool is a stunningly twisty thriller from #1 New York Times bestselling author Harlan Coben. Sammy Kearse, a young college grad backpacking in Spain with friends, wakes up one morning covered in blood. There's a knife in his hand. Beside him, the body of his girlfriend, Anna, dead. He doesn't know what happened. His screams drown out his thoughts, and then he runs. 22 years later, Kearse, now a private investigator, is a new father who's working off his debts by doing low-level surveillance jobs and teaching wannabe sleuths at a night school in New York City. One evening, he recognizes a familiar face at the back of the classroom, Anna. It's unmistakably her. As soon as Kearse makes eye contact with her, she bolts. For Kearse, there is no choice. He knows he must find this woman and solve the impossible mystery that has haunted his every waking moment since that terrible day. His investigation will bring him face to face with his past and prove, after all this time, he is nobody's fool. Nobody's Fool will be released on March 25th. The Gun for Hire sweet Western romance series by Margaret Tanner continues with Dustin. She saved his life once. Now, in her hour of need, will he come to her rescue? Years ago, Honey put herself in grave peril to save Dustin's life, but war ripped them apart. Now widowed and with a small child, she is stalked by a predatory neighbor. There was no one to help her unless Dustin is a gun for hire, living in the shadows of black deeds from his past. He has long harbored feelings for Honey, yet feels unworthy of her. Honey knows Dustin is redeemable. Can she make him believe this so they can live their happily ever after dream? Take a ride with Dustin on March 30th. New York Times bestselling author John Scalzi flies you to the moon with his most fantastic tale to date, When the Moon Hits Your Eye. The moon has turned to cheese. Now humanity has to deal with it. For some, it's an opportunity. For others, it's a moment to question their faith in God, in science, in everything. Still, others try to keep the world running in the face of absurdity and uncertainty. And then there are the billions looking to the sky and wondering how a thing that was always just there is now something absolutely impossible. Astronauts and billionaires, comedians and bank executives, professors and presidents, teenagers and terminal patients at the end of their lives, over the length of an entire lunar cycle, each get their moment in the moonlight, to panic, to plan, to wonder and to pray, to laugh and to grieve, all in a kaleidoscopic novel that goes all the places you'd expect and then to so many places you wouldn't. It's a wild moon age daydream. Ride this rocket. Get ready for When the Moon Hits Your Eye on March 25th. The Secret Detective Agency by Helena Dixon is the first in a gripping new historical English cozy murder mystery series. London, 1941. Miss Jane Treen is at her desk, strong black coffee in hand and fluffy ginger cat by her side, when her top secret government work is interrupted by an urgent call to Devon. A woman has been found dead in a lake in a place where she shouldn't have been. Jane needs to gather the clues and find the killer before someone else from the agency gets hurt. Shy and handsome codebreaker Arthur Salento is bewildered by the arrival of the efficient Miss Treen and her cat, Marmaduke. She bursts into his life unexpectedly, forcing him out of his comfort zone. The reluctant colleagues huddle near the warmth of a crackling fire in Arthur's country home, working to piece together the murderous puzzle at hand. In the sleepy Devon village, someone is hiding something. But is it the busybody vicar and his sister? The dutiful housekeeper and her secretive son? the stern librarian, or someone else altogether? And who were the people with the woman in the lake on the day she died? No sooner have Arthur and Jane drawn up a list of suspects than a parcel arrives that reveals a clue that sends them in hot pursuit of a coded diary stashed in a village church. But as the heavy wooden door slams behind them and a key turns into the lock, one thing is sure. They need to unravel the truth and crack this code before the killer decides their number is up. But if they can catch the culprit in time, might this unusual pair become the finest crime-solving partnership since Holmes and Watson hung up their hats? Hire the Secret Detective Agency on March 27th. What is Wrong with You by Paul Rudnick is a witty, insightful new novel about the joy, delight, pain, and absurdity of love in an age of cynicism, divorce, and digital madness. A tech billionaire and the flight attendant he's marrying. A TV superhero who used to be married to the flight attendant. A Manhattan book editor and the sensitivity associate who got him fired. A 23-year-old wild child prodigy who's perhaps the savior of American literature. A vengeful Arkansas sheriff who sells a vitamin-enriched 10 pounds off today demulsifier. A Wall Street bro who raps on TikTok. Two dentists possibly stalking each other. What do these people have in common? Invited or not, they're all headed to the most anticipated destination wedding ever on the billionaire's private island to seek romance, to cause mayhem, and to figure out everyone else's futures, and maybe even their own. Find out what is wrong with you on March 25th. The Licentious Lord series by USA Today bestselling author Christi Caldwell begins with The Good Duke. Simon Broadbent, Duke of Greystone, never planned to return to England, let alone to the ghosts of his past. But duty demands he take a wife, and the sooner he secures a proper, passionless match, the sooner he can leave again. Persephone Forsyth has always been a force of nature, wild, untamed, and utterly unpredictable. Once, she and Simon had been inseparable friends, until life and mistakes tore them apart. Now cast out from the only home she's known, she takes refuge in the unlikeliest of places, his London townhouse. When fate throws them together once more, old wounds and buried emotions resurface, forcing them into an uneasy arrangement. But as desire sparks and past betrayals linger, neither is prepared for the dangerous pull between them, or the way their carefully laid plans begin to crumble. Some bonds were meant to be broken. Others refuse to be forgotten. And when the heart is involved, even the safest choices can come at the greatest cost. Meet the Good Duke on March 26th. This week's nonfiction pick is Kostya Kennedy's The Ride, Paul Revere and the Night That Saved America. On April 18th, 1775, a Boston-based silversmith, engraver, and anti-British political operative named Paul Revere set out on a borrowed horse to fulfill a dangerous but crucial mission to alert American colonists of advancing British troops, which would seek to crush their nascent revolt. Revere was not the only rider that night, and indeed he had completed at least 18 previous rides across New England and other colonies, disseminating intelligence about British movements. But this ride was like no other, and its consequences in the months and years to come as the American Revolution morphed from isolated skirmishes to a full-fledged war became one of our founding legends. In The Ride, Kostya Kennedy presents a dramatic new narrative of the events of April 18th and 19th, 1775, informed by fresh primary and secondary source research into archives, family letters and diaries, contemporary accounts, and more. Kennedy reveals Revere's ride to be more complex than it usually is portrayed, a loosely coordinated series of rides by numerous men, near disaster, capture by British forces, and finally, success. While Revere was central to the ride and its plotting, Kennedy reveals the other men and perhaps a woman with information about the movement of British forces who helped to set in motion the events that would lead to America's independence. Take the Ride on March 25th. Best-selling authors Hope Holloway and Cecelia Scott teamed up for The Summer We Met, the first book in the Destined Diary series. 30 years ago, two families shared 7 magical summers together, vacationing in a shared beach house on the white sands of Destin, Florida. For 3 months every year, they basked in laughter, love, and endless beachside memories, until a mysterious falling out ended those sun-soaked summers, leaving the families estranged for decades. When that very house, newly renovated and twice the original size, comes back into their lives, it sparks an unexpected reunion among the 5 adults who'd spent their teenage summers there. Now, navigating their 40s and 50s, this group of sisters and friends decide to share the beach house for one more summer, hoping to recapture the joy of those sunlit years and create new memories. Returning to Destin rekindles emotional fires and launches personal transformations. Old crushes deepen into love, childhood friendships grow and mature, and the enduring power of sisterhood is tested. The discovery of long lost diaries that chronicle those 7 summers of decades ago puts everything at risk again. Forced to face the truth of their past, these families must join forces to protect what they've created or let love sail away for good. Can their lifelong relationships, shared memories, and newfound connections be enough to mend what was shattered? Or will old wounds drive these families apart once again? The Summer We Met will be released on March 28th. New York Times bestselling author Fern Michaels is back with Fight or Flight. From the comfort of her beautiful mountaintop retreat, Catherine Winston creates her best-selling young adult series, Girls with Unusual Powers. No one in the nearby small town has any idea of her true identity. To them, she's just the reclusive woman on the mountain, and Catherine is grateful to be left alone. It wasn't always this way. Though her parents were as neglectful as they were wealthy, Catherine built up a busy, full life. Then tragedy struck and she retreated, panic-stricken at the idea of engaging with anyone again. Aside from her 2 faithful dogs who provide companionship and security, Catherine mostly interacts with people anonymously online through reader fan pages. Now one of those fans appears to be in danger, and Catherine desperately wants to help. But that means moving beyond her isolated world for the first time in years. More and more, Catherine can't shake the feeling that some of her fears may be justified. Someone is watching her. She's sure of it. And they're getting closer all the time. And only by leaving her self-imposed exile can she hope to find the answers she needs, the courage to trust again, and an unexpected new beginning. Get ready for Fight or Flight on March 25th. Finally, we have the Liam Harper series beginning with Final Claim, the latest from New York Times #1 bestseller and million-selling author Jack Gatland. In the sun-baked Nevada desert lies Prosperity, a gold rush town with more buried secrets than residents. Ex-SRR operative Liam Harper isn't looking for trouble when he rolls into the town. All he wants are answers to his late father's cryptic past. But Prosperity's buried secrets don't stay hidden long, and Harper's quiet search soon pulls him into a deadly game. A ruthless security firm is tearing Prosperity apart, chasing rumors of a lost gold shipment worth millions. As tempers flare and tensions rise, Harper becomes the calm in the eye of the storm, caught between trigger-happy mercenaries, a town divided, and a century-old conspiracy that's leaving a trail of broken lives in its wake. Armed with nothing but his wits, combat skills, and a stubborn sense of justice, Harper races to uncover the truth about the town's secret wealth and his father's small role in protecting it. In Prosperity, danger lurks in every shadow, and trust is a rare commodity. As the violence escalates, Harper finds the price of gold is death, and the next claim could be his last. In this pulse-pounding thriller, New York Times best-selling author Tony Lee, writing as Jack Gatland, introduces a hero grappling with his own heritage. Liam Harper came seeking answers about his past, but in Prosperity, he'll find that uncovering the truth could cost him his future. This is Jack Gatland at his very best, weaving a tale of hidden legacies, small town secrets, and the high price of striking gold. Stake your claim to the final claim on March 24th. That's our 10 books for this week. Until next time, you can check out booknotification.com. Book Notification offers an easy way to track your reading lists, follow your favorite authors, and never miss a new release. Our website is completely free to use, and it's packed with features to make your reading life easier. You can follow your favorite authors and get notified whenever they release new books. We send out an email every Tuesday with a list of fresh releases from the authors you love, but that's not all. You can track your reading progress, mark books as read, rate and review them, and even import your data from Goodreads, Calibre, Libby, and more. Want to discover something new? Check out Reader's Roulette for book recommendations, or use our personalized book release calendar to stay up to date with the latest titles. You can even tag books with custom labels, just like on Goodreads shelves, and get tailored recommendations for what to read next based on your current book. Whether you're looking for books in publication or want to see them listed in chronological order, we've got it covered. Plus, all of our authors are audited by real people, so you know the information is accurate. So why not give it a try and join the thousands of readers already using our site to stay on top of their reading game. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week with another 10 books.